Welcome to Wealth Coffee Chats, folks, for your daily live updates. Get the most out of today's episode by participating in the chat. Make sure you ask some questions, be part of the conversation, have a bit of fun, grab a coffee or a tea, take some notes, and get ready to start your day, folks. Quick few housekeeping rules, though. No spamming, no advertising or self-promotion in the chat. That's not on. Be kind and respectful to everyone when participating. And most of all, have a good time. Real estate investing can be your biggest asset. It also can be your most expensive asset when it comes to getting it right or getting it wrong, folks. It can be time-consuming, stressful, and that's why here at Positive, we have what's called a 6-star team, a full-service team that provides integrated wealth and property investing solutions and services simply designed to help you progress towards your goal of passive income through your property portfolio, folks. Make sure you check out our other podcasts on the Positive Mentor Network. Not only is there Wealth Coffee Chats, there's the Urban Property Investor. Drops every Wednesday with straight talking investing strategies and lessons with Sam Saggers. Property Investor Tales. This is where our clients, you guys, share real life stories from property investing, hosted by some of our advisors and strategists. And that's done every fortnight, dropping every Monday. Wealth, Wine and Wisdom, folks, that debriefs the week that was in the world of finance and property, hosted by yours truly, Jason Witten and Andy Fenton on Fridays. Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chats. Marvellous Monday. Hope you're well, folks, wherever you are. If you think it's Get Rich Quick, you're in the wrong place. This is the wrong podcast. This is the wrong live for you. Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chat. Hope you're all awesome and well. A little bit of a sneak peek there. Hang on. There we go. Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Wealth Coffee Chats. Good to see a few of you up and at it. A few of the early birds on already, which is excellent. Marvellous Monday. It is. There we go. Morning, Bunty. Thanks for being here. Great to have you here this morning. While we're waiting for everyone to jump on and get things rolling this morning, we'll do the quick intros as we do. Jason Witten's my name, if you didn't already know. And if you're new or whatever, welcome to the show, Wealth Coffee Chats. We get together each weekday, around about 10 past 8, Queensland time, by the way. In the other states, well, everything's changed of recent times with daylight savings, so you can work it out. But usually we're fairly regular when it comes to getting together for the show. What do? We get together and we talk about property investing, making sure we sort some fear from the facts, folks. And, this gig that we're looking at mastering, this idea of investing and creating something for the future takes a little bit of time. And certainly there's a few opinions out there, maybe well-meaning, sometimes not, as far as I'm concerned. But you've got to make sure you understand a little bit of the facts of the matter when it comes to property investing. Certainly, buy and hold long-term property investing takes a little bit of time. So hang around, folks. Don't go away. We'll talk about what it takes to go the distance with this gig. Hey, morning, Jeff. Good to see you, mate. From the sunny coast back to Blackwater. There you go, mate. Well, stay safe and stay well, Jeff. We'll see you soon, mate. Great you could be jumping on this morning anyway. If you're there and you are new, folks, give us a shout out in the chat. Let us know. Where are you coming in from? Great to have you here on the show this morning. Hey, I had a good friend pass away recently, and we always used to talk about living the best life and leaving a legacy. And today I thought we might talk about the idea of, are you in, is your situation organised? Do you have yourself sorted when it comes to these sorts of things? So I named today's conversation, Live, Love, Legacy. And maybe we'll just talk about that today, what that might look like when it comes to your world, maybe, and getting yourself organised when it comes to this stuff. Now, when we chat at Positive here, we always talk about the idea of, creating a few goals when it comes to the idea of creating some assets, some wealth, and some financial security into the future. And there's a few different versions of this. This is a good friend of ours, Andy Fenton, and he talks about the idea of live, love, legacy, the concept of layers or levels of financial security, financial creation, asset organization, and organizing that. Yeah, absolutely, Luke. Yep, yep. I love the Die with Zero book. It actually really changed a lot of how I was thinking. I spent a lot of the last 20 years of my life accumulating wealth, and in my own terms, pretty significant wealth. And I wasn't sort of Scrooge McDuck, but I wasn't enjoying it as much as I probably could have, or had a bit of a linear notion of this idea of our wealth. So anyway, it's a great book if anyone ever wants to read it. Die with Zero, fantastic book. But listen, the process we go through is, we need some financial security, and we call it the bare ass minimum. What is the bare ass minimum you require in your world when it comes to your financial safety, taking care of your family? And often, that's kind of, you need to make sure you pay the mortgage or pay the rent, put food on the table, and do the basics, right? As we go along. And most Australians, most Aussies, tick that box, And that's usually where the financial focus or the financial goals, get to for most Aussies, and that's, nothing against that. For most of us on this call and most of us as property investors, we have a plan. We've got a goal, a focus to create something a little bit more. And there's a bit of some steps in this that we like to, say to people, all right, well, in sequence, and it doesn't necessarily have to be exactly in sequence, but in sort of sequence, the idea that as you go through life, if you can build your super. Now, in the chat, if you want to yell it, give me a shout out, folks. Give me a shout out. Why is your super? Why is your super great? What's the investment advantage? What's the wealth advantage of your super? And allows you to live a little bit more in retirement and into the future. It creates an extra safety buffer over and above what the government might provide, folks. The government might provide, right? So super into the future. Well, you can create a tax-free income in the future, folks. Tax-free income. Tax-free. Yep. Boom, Jeff. Exactly. Jeff's onto it. Yeah, thanks, Jeff. Appreciate that, mate. Tax-free, folks. And also your PPR, your principal place of residence, is tax-free when it comes to sale. You can have tax-free capital gain and tax-free income in your super in the future. Now, Andy and I love these two layers because these are super important to get right when it comes to the bare ass minimum when it comes to these things, right? And the question is, how can you get, for all of us sitting here right now, we can get up to $1.9 million into our super. If we understand how to do that, we might have some investments. We've got a time frame. How do you do it? How do you get it in there? And you and your partner, if you're married, or if you've got a life partner, you can get 1.9 each into your super, which is fantastic. Absolutely. As we go along. Now, this is the next section. How you want to do a little bit more than just make sure you, as an individual, are not. And this is not. Don't take this the wrong way. I look at it like I don't want to be a burden on society in the future. So at the very least now, while I'm a productive member of society, I can create some, assets that, I can take care of myself in the future. And I'm not expecting my kids to. I'm not expecting the government to. I'm not expecting other taxpayers to. That's my sort of version of the world. And that's what I see super and other things doing. But as we go, investments. What investments? Your property portfolio, maybe some shares. Maybe whatever other investments, right? And this is where you can help others. Often with this along the way, this is that sort of die with zero idea where you can create a little bit of a financial assistance earlier rather than later. And then ultimately, we've talked about this, the idea of like a legacy. What might that look like? For me, some of the legacy stuff that I've been doing, is building schools, building libraries, doing those sorts of things, building businesses, et cetera, right? So those things are fantastic, now up to about 20 schools, 8,000 kids go to school each day. As far as I'm concerned, I've got enough resources to take care of me and my family pretty nicely, pay that forward. Now, whatever that is for you, that might be a legacy for your children. It might be a legacy for, some passions you have. It might be a legacy for, some charities, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Small, big, it's all big to be, let's be frank, if you pay it forward, in that sort of sense. So, we take some time, we spend, a lifetime, creating these things, taking care of our family, paying down some debts, creating some, tax-free opportunities, building a property portfolio, maybe designing some activities where, legacy in the future, et cetera, right? So, and the conversation is, put all this together. What happens if something goes wrong, right? And this is kind of a little twist on today. Is it organized well? If something goes wrong, how does it live on? How does it continue without you here, as we go along? So the few things you may not have thought about over time. As you get a bit older, you think about these things. When you're younger, you don't think about them at all. And Andy Benton does a lot of this stuff, and I'll just sort of talk about the high level concepts today. But if you haven't, or if you don't know about these things, then these are some things you should get out there and have a quick look at, right? When it comes to these things, and they're different for different states, right? Enduring powers of attorney. Okay, if you don't have enduring power of attorneys or power of attorney, then you need to understand what that is and get them sorted for yourself, right? Now, let's say a few things might happen. You might pass away. You might be medically injured in some way, or you might be have some issue, some faculties of not being able to do something. Now, if you are on, if you've got debts, if you've got assets, you've got bank accounts, you've got directorships and companies, there's things that you need to make sure you put in place, that if you're not able to, for whatever reason, you as the person, the individual, if you're not able to operate those things, then who's going to operate them to continue to take care of the financial matters, to continue to take care of the personal matters in your life, medical matters, et cetera, et cetera. So anyway, let's do this. Enduring a power of attorney. If you don't know what they are, make sure you understand what they are. Enduring guardianship, advanced care directive, all sorts of cool things, right? Now, have a little look at those things. And if any of this sounds like, I don't know, sounds like gobbledygook to you, then, make sure you think about, those things as you go along. All right. As you go. Now, in the world of assets, if you don't have your will organized and knocked into shape, then, who's going to take control of those things? Make sure the will's in shape as well. Okay. Because the will is what directs all this stuff. And if you don't organize the will, well, it gets a bit messy. And if it's not organized very well, right, the will's at the center of making sure everyone knows what's going on. And the estate, well, who gets the money if this is not organized? I should have asked the question, right? All right. Tell me in the chat, folks, if you don't organize these things, a will and a jury power of attorney and, some directions on for the beneficiaries of the estate. And if that's not organised and something happens to you, who gets the money? Who gets to take care? Who gets all the efforts of your labour, of your plans, folks, when it comes to this stuff in life? Who gets to take advantage of it? Yep, that's right. Yep, the good old government. Exactly, Luke. Exactly. Yep, the good old government. Right? So, folks, if we don't organise these things, the government gets to decide what happens to them. And what do you reckon? Are they going to take care of the people that you were thinking of taking care of? No. Right? So be really clear. Get those things, because it's called estate shrinkage, right? Taxation, loans, personal guarantees, securities, all that sort of jazz, right? As we go along. So, you don't want the government benefiting indirectly or unproportionately if something happens and you haven't got it organised properly. All right, there you go. But anyway, folks, hopefully that made sense today. Maybe just a short and sweet one. But we spend some time. We spend a lot of our life organising these amazing, wonderful things. We get ourselves, ready to invest. Make sure that effort, if something happens to you medically or physically or mentally, then it's going to go where you want it to go, and you get looked after too. If you're not capable of making decisions in that moment. So there you go. Anyway, folks, that's it from me this morning. Wealth Coffee Chat done and dusted. Thanks for joining. Good to see you here. Appreciate you popping along. Come and join us tomorrow for another one. Wealth Coffee Chats. As always, let us know in the chat if there's something that you want me to, maybe have a conversation about. Anything in the media that has popped up on your mind or your feed. And, we can always try and stay on track as property investors, because it takes time, right, folks, to build this thing, what we're doing, this property portfolio, this wealth. And, make sure you don't get distracted. All right, folks, that's it from me. Take care. Thanks for joining today. You guys have a great rest of your day and have a good week. Bye for now. See ya. Episode of Wealth Coffee Chat, folks. Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you never miss a thing when we go live. Improve your portfolio and investing game, folks, with Wealth Coffee Chats live every morning at 8:10 each weekday. Make sure you join us. Previous episodes are also available wherever you get your podcasts, folks, as well as our other podcasts from the 6-Star team here at positivementor.com.au.